One of the things that you should know when you're in the market for an auction vehicle is that there's never such thing as a cheap car. My name is Andile from Auction Hub, and we list all the trusted and legit auctions across South Africa. So let's get into it. The word I prefer instead is the word bargain. At an auction, you get a car on bargain or at a bargain. It's never cheap because once things get cheap, that's when you're opened to a world of scams. One thing I always say is that if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. And a lot of people have lost huge sums of money falling for these scams. So, how do you identify a scam, and what are the things that you should do in order to protect yourself from such? Firstly, you should know that there's never such a thing as buying a car before or after the auction. If that is the case, then it ceases to be an auction because an auction takes place while everyone is there, whether it's online or live or on site. Once someone requires you to pay a deposit to secure an auction vehicle, then just know that that's a scam. Secondly, if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. If a Toyota Hilux, for example, and if that's the car you're in the market for, if it costs 400,000 rands at a dealership or in the retail market, then at an auction you can expect to pay around 70% of the price, 70 to 90% of that price. And if it gets really, really cheap, say a 400,000 rand car is advertised for 60,000, then that is most likely a scam. And one thing I always advise people to do is to get educated about the auction space. Never try to just take any shortcuts because the reason why people lose money in auctions is because they tried to get a shortcut. So why do you think that you can get a car before or after the auction when it's an auction vehicle? That just doesn't make sense. If you can get a car before or after the auction, then it's no longer an auction. It's just something else. And auction cars, you don't outright buy them. You actually bid for them. So it's like a competition of sorts, and you get to bid for those vehicles, and the vehicle then ends up going to the one with the highest final bid. So just remember that and never try to take any shortcuts to get yourself a vehicle because once you take shortcuts, that is when you're more open to scams.